Hey, welcome back to the Secret Underground Lair. Got a new project on the table. We're going to be making a couple nightstands. So a pair of them. They're going to be 19 inches wide, 18 inches deep, and 28 inches tall. 2 drawers contained within sides. So we'll have drawer slides, drawer slide here, and here. A shelf, and the top. The top is 1 1/4 inches thick, maybe 1 inch thick, just because I have material in hand that'll just suit this to a T. So we'll probably make that 1 inch thick. This will be about 3/4 of an inch thick, a little narrower. Yeah, that's our project, and we're going to be starting with this nice piece of red oak from a local supplier. So first bit will be cutting a couple pieces to length that we'll use to make legs. Then run this through the planer to get a smooth surface and glue them up. And that is today's adventure. So I'm going to have a considerable amount of planing to do on this oak, and I thought it would be a good idea to make sure the blades are sharp. So I've taken the blades out, you can see. And there is some pine tar and other kind of gunk built up on the blades. So I'm just using some acetone to clean this off. You can see I've already, just with a single swipe, I've picked up a fair bit. So clean those blades off and then get them sharpened. Some of that has really gone well. Okay, we'll call that one clean. There's a little bit on here, but that should come off with the grinding stone. Okay, I'll set those in the jig and we'll get sharpening. So this is my surface planer blade sharpening jig. Simply 2x4 with a couple grooves cut in it at 45 degrees. And the blades just slip in there perfectly, and they fit in at exactly the same angle but the opposite direction, so that I know that when I rub this on the stone, I'm going to get an even cut. And then it is simply a case of putting the blades on the stone. Of course, I can't fit the whole thing on at the same time, but I kind of work my way down the blade. And if I look at the blade, I can already see the action that we've taken a little bit off there. So I'm just going to go for that a little bit more, and I'll come back when I'm done. All right, blades are sharpened and back in the surface planer. So we're going to run this piece of red oak through a few times. I have 2 pieces that I'll be running through. And just to kind of get down to a cleaner surface so that I can glue 2 bits side together, two sides together, 2 surfaces. All right, away we go. This is loud, so probably put some music on for you. And I'm going to wear my hearing protection on this one. So oak being a very hard wood, and my planer being fundamentally a hobbyist planer, I'm going to take a different approach with this. I'm going to cut these cut the oak planks into 1 3/8 inch strips. They're going to be glued together to 1 3/8 strips to make what will ultimately become a 1 1/4 inch square blank, leg blank. So I'm going to, like I say, cut these into strips, then run the individual strips through the planer. That'll give the planer a fighting chance to handle this kind of wood. Cutting 9 inches at a time of hard red oak is just a little too much for that saw, even with sharp blades, or with that, for that planer with even sharp blades. So I'm gonna go back to the saw, cut this stuff. I'll come back when I'm ready to plane it again as strips. All right, I have our pieces now cut down to 1 3/8. The planer will have a fighting chance with this. So I'm just gonna plane these down until I get a smooth surface on one of these two wide surfaces. That'll be the side that gets glued together. So, back to planing. So that went considerably better. Just gonna, don't bite off more than you can chew, huh? So I'm going to now glue these blanks together. They'll be cut in half, so this would represent 2 legs. So I'll get a big glue up going, hopefully in time for a bite of lunch. All right, we are back from lunch and going to do a combination glue up here. So we've got 2 pieces being glued together at a time, but all pieces clamped at the same time. Okay, we have our legs all glued up, so we'll let that set. In the meantime, we'll now start thinking about cutting off some top pieces. So I'm now working on the top and the shelf pieces, and these are going to be made up of 3 individual slabs. So I've got one that's going to be about 8 1/4, another one's going to be about 3 1/2, and another piece still against the wall here that's about 7 1/4. So we're doing 7 1/4, 8 1/4, 3 1/2. We're going to wind up with a piece that's about 19 inches wide, which will be trimmed down to 18, the width of that top. And I'm going to glue them up in 40-inch segments, so there'll be 2 40-inch bits, which would represent 2 tops and 2 shelves. And once they're all glued and set, and possibly even sanded, then I'll cut them in half to the appropriate dimensions. So for now, I'm just going to do a rough cut. So I'm going to cut here. I'm going to cut down there at 40 inches. And I'm going to take a 4 1/2 inch strip off here to make the same as this one, a duplicate of that. There's a little bit of cracking in here, so this piece of wood will disappear. But this is lovely bit of red oak that stays. A little bit hard for the saw. the bed rail on these pieces just to get a nice straight edge for gluing. I'll do the same kind of cutting with our 7.5 inch piece. Have to be a little bit different with that one because there's a section in it that I want to get rid of. It's got a bad knot right in the middle. So I'm just using a bed rail now to get a straight edge on this piece. Once I have a straight edge on here, I'm going to flip it over and get a straight edge on the other side because this will be glued up from both sides. All right, we've got our edges that we've cut, that we needed cut. So I can glue these tops together now, the tops and shelves. So we'll get them all set up. Might need some more clamps. Never have enough clamps. All right, going with another glue up. This will represent 2 tops. And just putting on a couple bars underneath just to kind of keep the piece from warping a little bit this way. Okay. So that is 2 of the tops glued together. I have the other pieces cut for the shelves. Legs are clamped. So I'm gonna have to let this set for a little bit before I can clamp up again for the other top. So that'll be it for today, I think. A shorter video, but we're well underway with our new night table build. So solid oak is interesting to work with, red oak. I have to go a little bit easier with the table saw. I found I actually popped a circuit breaker earlier, pushing the wood a little too hard. But it's really interesting wood. Couldn't be a fun project. So thank you very much for watching, everyone. Please like and subscribe. I'll see you on the next video.